sound. Let's get this thing started. Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to get everything set up. Oh, and there go. Okay. So we're just going to make sure everything is working. And okay, sounds like it is working. I'm going to do a sound check on YouTube really quickly, and I will be right back. Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's get this thing started. To the live stream. Set up. Okay, so the sound is working. We're gonna get started here. The first thing that I do want to look at is going to be the crypto fear and greed index. Right now, the crypto fear and greed index is sitting at 11. The other day we were at 13. Last week we were at 11, and last month we were at 12. Although I know about a month and a half ago when we went down to 60,000, we did go down to a 5. Maybe that was over a month ago. I don't think it was. Was it? I don't know. But so right now, I say this is not financial advice, but I say it every time in case there's new people watching. Anytime you go 10 or lower on the crypto fear and greed index, it's a good time to buy. That's usually marked pretty close to the bottom. I'm not saying the bottom's in, but historically it's marked the bottom. Right now, I still think it looks sketchy, but we'll see what happens. I think until the war in Iran is over, there's a very good chance Bitcoin really doesn't get a pump. So we can go over that in more detail. I want to talk about oil because I did take an oil long the other day, and right now oil is at the highest point it's been in a while. So I do want to talk about that. But first things first, we're going to go over and look at Bitcoin and kind of see what's going on with Bitcoin. So I'm going to start on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, and then we'll get started. I appreciate if you guys hit the likes and subscribe button. It does help support the channel. Or hit the bell notification button if you're watching on YouTube. Also, I did forget, I want to look at Bookmap. So if you're unfamiliar with what this is, it basically shows you where all of the liquidity is at on Bitcoin. If you remember, last time we were live, there was the most liquidity was around $65,000, and now I got to be honest with you, it is fluctuating quite a bit today. And you still have a decent chunk at 65,000, but it is all the way zoomed out right now. I see some more liquidity up here, 72,000. And I'll be honest with you, I still see a lot of liquidity at 65, but it's looking like they're trying to build liquidity like right above us. I think it's pretty much even though on where the most liquidity is, and usually the price goes to wherever there's the most liquidity. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a move up to 72,000 because it looks like there is some liquidity up there. But I see some at 65 still. So, to me, Bookmap right now is a little bit indecisive of where it wants to go. I think they're starting to try to build more liquidity up here at 72,000 though. So to me, it's most likely that we either go sideways or maybe get a pump. But we'll see. Another thing I can do, I can save that, exit that, and then I can reopen Bookmap, and it will refresh it. Maybe it will show something different because it did seem like it was fluctuating quite a bit. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to reopen it, refresh it. Usually, you should reopen Bookmap every 24 hours just to get the most accurate data. Sometimes it is laggy. So I'll do that really quickly, and then we'll look at that. So this shouldn't take too long. Close that tab. And let's go look at Bookmap. Okay. Yeah, so they've really taken a lot of the liquidity away from $65,000. So I don't want to say we're going up to 72,000, but there's liquidity up there. I still see some at 65 though. I'm not going to make a call on Bookmap right now. We're going to go look at the charts, and we're going to see what's going on. So right now, Bitcoin still has a really bad measured move, like a bear flag, to about $32,000. And once again, how do we get this measured move? It's from the last peak to the last local high, from the last local high to the last local low. And your measured move is still 36.4 now, whatever. At the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter. As long as you're going below 40,000, I don't know if it really matters if you go to 35, 34, 33. It looks pretty bearish to me. And this, I'm just saying, this is a bear flag on the weekly time frame. You're above the 200 barely, but it has a measured move lower. You're not overbought on the R side. That's a good thing. Money flow is also not overbought yet on the weekly time frame for Bitcoin, but you have that red dot that is still technically not printed a green dot. So to me, the weekly is still bearish, even though you're above the 200. You look at the 6-day time frame right now. You can see that on the 6-day time frame, you're touching the 200 almost. If I zoom in, you can kind of see that. That's coming in around 66.5. You're almost touching it. The 6-day stock RSI doesn't look phenomenal. And then you look at the money flow. Alexa, stop. And then you look at the money flow, and that to me right now as well is just, you have that red dot way back there from November 20th of last year, and you still have not gotten oversold on the money flow. So to me, even the 6-day is suggesting on the money flow alone that we still have a little bit more downside that we can get. Thank you for the follow, Wes. Let's look at the 5-day time frame. 5-day time frame for Bitcoin right now. Obviously, all these time frames are going to be in the bear flag. Stock RSI coming to the upside, lower high. And then you look at the money flow. Just make this a little bigger. You look at the money flow, red dot on the 5-day from May of last year, which that's a year ago almost. That's insane. And it's suggesting that that was like 10.5 months ago. And it's suggesting you're still not oversold on the 5-day. So that's crazy. It said from May of last year, Bitcoin was a sell at $112,000. After that, you did go to 125, but for most of that time, you would have been in the money. And yes, that was, several weeks, maybe that's 2 or 3 months. It was October, not till October, so you had June, July, August. You had 4 months until you really topped out, but at the end of the day, you didn't go that much higher. And then for the most of the time, the other 8 months, you'd be in the money. So we'll see what happens, and you'd have to be really patient to trust that indicator. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin still looks bad to me on the 5-day. The 4-day is in a clear bear flag below the 200. I'm going to get rid of the 200-day smooth moving average just to clear things up a little bit. So to me, this is the 4-day time frame. The 200 is coming in at 84.9. If you're below it, you're in a bear market. And at the end of the day, whoops, I want to do that. I'm going to raise this up a little bit. Just make the stock RSI a little bit bigger. So stock RSI on that time frame is overbought. On the 4-day, it's overbought. If you look at the money flow, that's coming down, and that's also been bearish ever since June, which that was a more accurate top, right? June was around maybe not actually. It was closer to the top time-wise, but not money-wise. If we look at the 3-day time frame, the 3-day time frame is overbought. You still have that red dot all the way back from May of last year, the same time as the 5-day. And money flow is also coming to the down, sitting at 55. So, wow, this has been bearish for almost a year as well. And then we look at the 2-day time frame. We can see that the 2-day time frame is also in a bear flag. Below the 200-day moving average. That's coming in at 95 and change. And we can see that also you have a smaller bear flag. Now when you zoom in, it's easier to see. You also have a smaller bear flag with a measure move making a lower low below $56,000. You can see stock RSI is bearish. I will say, look at this. You have 2 green dots on the money flow suggesting we could bounce. Would I trust this? No, because look, I wouldn't trust it that much. I put some weight on it. But it looks like right now, because the first one was 87K, and then you obviously went significantly lower, and then the other one was all the way back here at 65,000. So to me, at the end of the day, 65K maybe would be a good buy, but 87 was not a good buy. So obviously you can't trust money flow with everything. I don't trade money flow, but I think it's a good indicator to look at to be cautious of a top or bottom. If we look at the daily time frame, you're in a bear flag on the daily time frame, well below the 200, and this is the time frame I do use a lot to see if you're in a bear market. I believe if you're below the 200-day moving average on any asset for more than 14 consecutive days, especially in crypto, stock market could be like 10 days because it's 5 days each trading week, right? If you're below that for more than 2 weeks, you're in a bear market on any asset. That's been the case, really since you've been below the daily 200 now on Bitcoin ever since November 2nd. 2 weeks later would be the middle of November. So I would say Bitcoin's been in a bear market ever since really the middle of November. And the price was, maybe around 100,000. So to me, Bitcoin continues to look bearish. And you see this initial dump out of this bear flag starting to have maybe a bearish retest here. I would be bullish on Bitcoin. I have a way I could be bullish. I would be bullish on Bitcoin If Bitcoin could reclaim like the top of this or bottom of this bear flag and maybe get like a move above $72,000. If we look at the 12-hour time frame as well, we can also see that the 12-hour time frame is also in a bear flag, like I just said. Overbought on the stock hour side. Money flow is also bearish on the 12-hour. It's been bearish ever since 72,000. And again, the more we zoom in, the easier I can show you why I think 72K is a big resistance level. But I would kind of say this. I mean, it was the top, it was the bottom of this bear flag, and that's why I think it's going to be a key resistance level to flip. If you flip $72,000, there's a very good chance we could say the bottom is possibly in. 8-hour time frame below the 200, kind of looks like the 12-hour time frame got rejected just now off the 200, and you had like 3 straight red dots suggesting further downside. The 6-hour time frame as well, same as the 8-hour in my opinion. 2 red dots this time, and then we go down to the 4-hour below the 200, and this is another time frame I do look at quite often, especially on Bitcoin, below the 200 at 69.3, suggesting more downside. 2 red dots, not good, lower high, yada yada yada. 3 hours going to look probably pretty similar. No red dots though, oversold. So there's a chance now as you zoom in, you can look for a bounce, but would I trade along here? I mean, not financial advice, but no, I wouldn't. It doesn't, I don't see enough momentum. And that's now, if we look at the 33-minute time frame, not only is that a rounded top, you have a bearish engulfing candle now next to this red or green candle. So, like, to me, suggesting further downside and suggesting you lose the 30-minute 200. If you lose the 30-minute 200, you could look for the 1-hour 200 to be the next stop, which you're basically at right now. If you lose that, you're looking for the 2-hour and you're below that. So to me, like right now, it looks bad. So let's go back to the 4-hour time frame and kind of look at support and resistance, and then we'll look into other things like oil and what's going on in the markets. So right now, the next support to the downside that is of any major significance that I see would be about 65,000. There was a lot of liquidity that we just saw in Bookmap over there at 65,000. So if you lose 65,000 though, then I would be looking for $60,000 to be the next support. So I would say this: if we remain below $72,000 on Bitcoin, I'll turn the music on. I see, if we remain below 72,000, I see further downside at 65. And if you lose 65, 60,000 is coming. If you get back above $72,000, then we could look for further upside, maybe as high as, 87,000 for Bitcoin. If this and that. And with that sense, that kind of sums up what I've gone over so far. But at the end of the day, I see more downside here for Bitcoin. You can also just see the 1 minute is below the 200, so just not good price action now on the smaller time frames either. Again, I'm definitely not trading the 1 minute today, but I'm just saying it looks bearish. And as I speak, oil is at the highest price I've seen in a while. So we're going to go look at this on the 1 minute time frame. Oil, yeah, oil just made the highest high it's made in a while. Even on the 5 minute time frame, you can see oil just hit the highest price it's hit in about 2 or 3 weeks. No, it's actually the highest price in years, since probably 2022. I take that back, right? Oh, wait, no. You did get up to 119, almost 120 on March 9th. So almost a month since you've been at these levels here on oil. And right now, you're coming up to that resistance, and I'm long on oil. I'll look at I entered this long on the 33-minute time frame right back here on Sunday night, around 6 or 7 p.m., right? Yeah, something like that, 7 p.m. And came down, but you held this ascending triangle or bull flag, and now you're just starting to rip to the upside. So we'll see what happens, but oil right now, I don't see why it stops before 134. It's one thing that the pattern looks bullish, but it's another thing when you got the war in Iran with no end in sight. And if the war keeps going, I see oil continuing to probably slowly go up to 134. Maybe not as fast as I drew that line, but you kind of get the picture. Like, either way, maybe it takes 2 weeks to get up there, maybe it takes a week, but oil looks like it wants to go up. And obviously, if oil goes up, gas prices continue to go up. So the main reason I took this long is because I'm hoping that this long, if it gets up to some of these levels, I'll make $480 in profit. I'm hoping that offsets the price of gas that I pay for in April. That's the only reason I entered this long in oil, is to offset whatever I pay for gas. That way, if I go to the pump and spend $60 on gas, I'm like, okay, well, I won this trade and won almost $500 on oil. on the oil long, so that will pay for my gas for the month of April. That's my logic behind it. Right now, I entered at the price of 113.10 or so whatever. I entered just over 14 oil in the trade, so it's nothing crazy, but it'll, if oil goes back to 147 all-time highs, I'll make $481. Even if that takes a month, that will pay for my gas for April. That was my logic. Nothing crazy. It's not going to change my life, but it'll help me financially pay for gas and not really be mad about the gas prices. So if you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, or any asset. I'll look at them. Let me just check YouTube and see if we do. We are live on YouTube. It surprises me that we have no one watching on YouTube, but we are live on YouTube. Bitcoin right now, like to me right now, Bitcoin looks like it's in a bear flag that wants to just go lower. So also next time I will be live as well on Saturday, but it's gonna be it'll be somewhere else, not in my normal spot. I'll be on vacation. So that's like to me right now a descending triangle where we make the same lows and lower highs. And these are very bearish. They break down about 80% of the time. I see more downside on Bitcoin right now. Appreciate you guys hit the likes. It does help support the channel as well. So yeah, I appreciate that. But right now the measure move for this bear flag on Bitcoin would be approximately $66,900 if we're being conservative. And honestly, where would I put my stop loss? I would say probably around 68.3. I'm not entering the short, to be clear, but I see it likely to play out. So that is my update for the price of Bitcoin, and we'll see what happens. But if I don't see any requests, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you guys in the next one on Saturday night. So I'll stay live a little bit longer and we'll just see what goes on. But right now it looks more bearish than bullish to me, but we'll see what happens. I also have to get out of here because I have a haircut coming up soon. I don't want to forget about that. So that's my update. I see Bitcoin probably collapsing down to 66.6. And if Bitcoin falls, oil is just going to do the inverse of that. Bitcoin will pump while Bitcoin will dump and Bitcoin and oil will pump. That's basically, that's kind of what I see going on here for oil. You see a 1 minute bull flag possibly forming that could take you even higher. Let me just get you the measure move. I'm just projecting this. It has not really played out yet. But the measure move would take you conservatively to about 119.40. So if Bitcoin dumps out this 1 minute bear flag, I would look for oil to do the exact opposite and pump out this 1 minute bull flag. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong. But lately, if Bitcoin pumps, oil dumps, and vice versa. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'll leave you with this projection, and I'll be back live Saturday night. Have a great one, y'all. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream on Saturday night. Adios. Thank you for joining, and hopefully you guys hit the likes on the way out. It's the least you guys can do. But trends your friend until the end. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.